you asked how the German Methodist connection happened. In about 100 years after Wesley's life and death, Methodism is spreading all over the world. It's spreading in England. It's spreading down into Europe. And the grandparents of some of our members were among the first Methodist ministers to be trained at Oxford, but then to go as Germans, but then to go back to Germany to take Methodism to Germany and to try to ignite what they saw as this robust meeting of heart and mind, this robust union of heat and light that Methodism represented to them, to the structured formalism and sort of political handshake between the church and the state that existed by that time with the Lutheran Church in Germany. And so Lydia Knaus, for instance, one of our senior members who's still alive, does not like well, I shouldn't say, she's very skeptical of the Lutheran Church, very skeptical of the Catholic Church, and has a great deal of pride about this, her Methodist heritage. And to her credit, I mean, when the Nazi police came knocking on their door in the early 1940s, asking her father why Lydia and her brothers weren't going to Hitler Youth meetings, her father responded, because we're Methodists. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd actually heard that bit about her.
So this church it's unusual. The founder of this church was trained at Oxford, but he was a German, and came to the United States with the idea of just preaching up and building
the true Wesley.
That's exactly right. That's okay. Building a Methodist church here in Southern California, and it just so happened that in 1878, which is when the church was formally incorporated, around that time there were a lot of Germans in Los Angeles. L.A., even more than New York, even more than Chicago, was the place where Germans at that time were flocking, and they were stonemasons, and they were. There was this movement in Germany, kind of fitness. I almost want to call it a cult, but it was like this fitness craze around gymnastics and sort of mild acrobatics. They called themselves the Turners. And there's still a Turner Museum, or there was, over at Alpine Village. And so there were a lot of Turners in Los Angeles. And so for whatever reason, LA at that time was where the Germans were coming. And so when he got here, there were just all these Germans here, and he was able to preach in German, and in a kind of echo of Wesley, got all of these, I would say, blue-collar craftspeople on their lunch break and what have you. He preached up this German Methodist church. And so this church has that legacy of being this strange hybrid of English Methodist holiness and piety with that kind of German language. And so it's a really, really interesting place. And it's been a really amazing privilege and a huge challenge for me as an American who was not raised. I was baptized Methodist, but I was not raised Methodist. I was raised in the evangelical world. To sort of learn my way into what is not quite a full-on German church, and what is in some ways a kind of hybrid Methodist church, where we've got a lot of Lutherans, but a Methodist spirit. And so it's in so many ways, this church embodies something that I think is amazing about Christianity in America. Christianity in America is hybrid Christianity, because Christians from all over the world have come here, and their children have intermarried, and people have had to find their way. And in some cases, what that means is that without a sort of a clear church to choose, people just sort of don't choose a church. But in other cases, like here, people try to hold all of these things together at the same time, and it creates and can create a kind of dynamism and openness that's very exciting.